Before we start a tutorial series for ETF for your lab or your projects, so if you prefer to working from home for your projects, so there are two things you should note. Number one, so to really generate the starter projects, we don't distribute the executable of the ETF for you. So you must generate the starter projects from the Prison Lab or log in to your REST server in the Prison Lab. So number one, you cannot generate a starter project on your home machine. And number two, once you generate a starter projects from the Prison Lab or remotely, in order to compile your starter projects, you must download a library which every ETF starter project will depend on. It's something called math models. So I assume that you already downloaded the math models compressed folder. So if you haven't, check your project or lab instructions about how you can download it. Okay. So now in order to set this up properly, let's briefly talk about it. So we simply just have to unzip it. This math models, so it's a normal folder over here. Let's assume you already got a folder somewhere on your home machine called ETF. So all the ETF related stuff will be stored here, and we simply drag and drop the math models inside the ETF. Okay, so now the math model library stays there. So now, in the case of the Mac, I just have to set up my some environment variables called math models, and then to be exactly the path under the ETF. But if you're using Windows, you can simply go to Control Panel and then add a new environment variable called math models. The same approach. Okay, I'm just showing you briefly in the Mac. If you're using Linux, just the same approach as in Mac. Okay, so I need to do is first of all cd, go to the home directory of your home machine, and then we want to just use an editor. I just use Nano, but it can be any editor you like. And then simply called bash profile. Bash profile. If you open that file over there, I already got a line over there, so I just read it to you. You have to write the following line: export space math models. Make sure you spell that in all upper cases and spell that correctly. It's plural. Math models equals, and then in string quote. So this will be the path to wherever your ETF folder is, and then remember we just drag and drop the uncompressed math models folder inside the ETF. So this will be the complete path for the math models library. Make sure you complete this step if you decide to work from home on the ETF starter projects. Okay, once you set this up, make sure you put this line for export, and then you can just exit from the editor. And now to make sure it is effective, you have to say source as a command and bash profile, and now we can test it. We can say echo math models, and then you can see that's exactly under this particular path. Under ETF, we have a math models folder. Okay, well, again, as a final reminder, if you want to generate the starter projects of ETF, you cannot do it on your home machine. You must use the ETF executable that's available in the Prison Lab or remotely in the Prison Lab. Okay. However, once you generate the starter projects, you can definitely work from home on your home machine. But to do that, you got to download the math models library and set the environment variable called math models properly.